Definitely have a quorum. All right, we're live.
All right. Welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Joint Development Authority of the Unified Government of Athens-Clarke County, Georgia, and the City of Winterville at 5:33 p.m. on Wednesday, May 4th. I'm calling the meeting to order. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll motion to approve the agenda.
All right, and Dodd seconded it. All right, any further discussion? All those in favor of approving the agenda, say aye or raise your hand, one or the other. Either one. Okay. Motion passes. Um, we got a lot of minutes to approve, and I'll be frank, I did not read those minutes with a comb. So
I did read them myself, but I don't know if anybody else did.
yeah, I know I didn't. So I can't in good conscience vote for something I haven't read.
You can abstain.
All right. How many people do we have? Enough people who did read it who can vote? One person.
I haven't read all of them.
Okay.
I'm gonna take a quick minute and just take a minute and read them.
Yeah, I just need to bring up.
We don't want to wait till the next one and then have four.
Yeah, I know, and then have four to go.
Get them up. Here was the one on the let me get the 23rd up. This is the
Get
first
the oldest one up first.
This is the first set, and what we did was elected new officers.
Okay.
And then we talked about the changes to the financial positions and stuff for the audit. We have all that. Tim agreed to do his part, and now Tim's gone, so we have to still deal with that.
Yeah, okay.
Treasurer's report, and that was about it.
Okay, I did a quick glance.
Note to welcome Gabby to the meeting.
Yeah, I see you.
Hi, Gabby. Good to have you with us.
Yep.
Yeah.
Welcome to the JDA.
Yeah.
All right. Well, for those who were at the meeting and saw the notes, do I have a motion to approve the meeting from November 3rd of 2021?
I'll motion.
Second.
All right. Dodd seconds. Any further discussion of this ancient minutes? All right. Hearing none, all those in favor of approving those minutes, say aye or raise your hand, or both. All right. Motion passes. All right. What's the next one, Stephanie?
The second, really the substantive part was the JDA audit that we all saw and approved.
Okay.
That was it. Ilka gave an update on the CARES Act, but we didn't make any decisions.
Okay. All right. Can I get a motion to approve the minute? Dodd approve motions? Do I have a second? Stephanie seconds. We got two people sharing the duties. Any other further discussion of the minutes? All those in favor of approving the minutes for February 2nd, 2022? Opposed? Nobody. All right. Those minutes have been approved. One more.
Yeah, this one was improving the collections contract. We changed the date on it, removed asset location.
Okay.
And I think that was it.
Was that literally one day afterwards?
It was the 23rd, so it was a special called meeting to approve the collections contract.
Okay, that's fine. All right. Do I have a motion to approve these minutes?
Oh.
One or two.
Yeah, either one. I'm going to give Stephanie first and Dodd second. All right. Any further discussion of these minutes? All those in favor, raise your hand. Opposed? No, none opposed. All right. Woo! We caught up with the minutes, I think. Go back, if you don't mind going back to the agenda, Stephanie.
See it? I see
it. I see it now.
Okay.
All right. The old business is to give an update on the Food Bank of Northeast Georgia project. I can do it. I can give you the gist of it, and Ilka can chime in on things that I've left off. Basically, we will be holding the funds on the order of $8 million to be spent of CARES community block development grant monies from the Department of Community Affairs, and that money is to be spent on a building and land for an expansion of the food bank of Northeast Georgia. And basically, the memorandum of agreement and the other document that I signed with your blessing basically says that the Athens-Clarke County government is responsible for pretty much most of it in terms of selecting people to build the building and all of that stuff, as well as working with the Northeast Georgia Regional Commission to administer the grants and do the reporting that's needed and to the federal government for the CARES grant funding. So we are basically just the holder of the deed for 5 years, and we're going to lease the building and the land to the food bank for $1 per year. And after 5 years, the deed is transferred over to the food bank for them to keep after that point. So we're basically kind of a pass through because of our status as a development authority. We really don't have a whole lot of anything for us to do per se. I may have a little bit of involvement in terms of coordinating grant information, working with the various agencies, but nobody on the board has to mess with that.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Where's my $1?
You want
haven't
to
seen it.
put it in the Bahamas fund or what?
Not seen it come through the bank account.
Well, I'm sure there'll be a dollar sitting there. I mean, until we actually that we're actually going to be getting in our, I don't know how we're going to, the funds are going to be in our bank account to the order of 8 point.
I don't think so.
Well, ACCGov is administering it, but I don't.
We don't have it in our account because that means I would have.
Ilka, maybe you can clarify.
I don't think that the funds will be in our account, but I think that we will be involved in the transaction to purchase the land. But I think from what I sort of gather is that a lot of that will be betwixt and between the attorneys in terms of like the paperwork. And my guess is that the funds will somehow come from ACCGov to pay.
Yeah, well,
for
it is. It's coming. The Department of Community Affairs gave the money to the Clarke County government for this project. So it isn't, yeah, you're right. It's not going to go into our bank account per se, but we're technically supposed to pass it through onto working with the county government. All these memorandum were written so we don't have to do anything, pretty much, except hold the deed on the property, land and the building, and lease it to them for $1 a year for 5 years.
I'll ask our auditor whether we even have to put an asset on our books. We may have to recognize it, but I don't know that for sure.
I don't either. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. And as we get closer to the actual real estate transaction part of it, we'll share that information with everybody so that you'll be in the loop. And the documents, so I went ahead and moved the copies of the documents that David signed on behalf of the board. There's an intergovernmental agreement between us and ACCGov,
Right.
and then there's a memo of understanding between us and the food bank. So those copies are there. And then I also threw in the agreement between the food bank and ACCGov, so you can kind of see your way around the whole arrangement.
Yeah, if you want to read it, I did read it before this meeting, so I'd be familiar with but it basically said what Ilka and I have said. And there are two documents that are, like she said, that we didn't even sign. It was between the government and the regional commission and food bank and this, that, and the other. So those we did not sign. I did not sign 2 of those documents, but the 2 I did pretty much covers what I talked about and what Ilka amplified. So are there any questions about this topic of the food bank? Yeah, okay, Erica.
Hello. Yeah, okay, so I just want to make sure that I understand this correctly. So the government has received these funds or is receiving these funds from the community and development people. And the funds are earmarked for the purchase of land or to develop land that is already owned?
Both. To
Who
purchase
owns
the land and to develop
land?
and to build a building for them to expand their food bank operations on that land.
On that land? Okay, for $8.5 million,
It's
correct?
it's close at 8.8, but it's all in those documents. If you read those documents on the thing,
All right,
it's well over $8 million.
Okay, and we are not going to handle that cash. That
No.
cash is going to be paid directly from the government to whomever we're acquiring the land for the benefit of the development authority, and the land will be deeded to us, and we have an obligation to lease that land back to the food bank for $5 over 5 years,
Correct.
and then we turn the deed over to them.
Correct. That is correct.
Whose responsibility is it of construction costs? If they overrun the costs on the construction, given the
All that's a
current
responsibility of the
environment?
Athens-Clarke County government, according to the agreement. They will be responsible
Okay.
for the bidding, the construction bidding, awarding the bids. All that's done by the Clarke County government.
And the
Okay,
food
I just
bank
want to
is
make sure I
also
understood.
raising about $1 million that will be their skin in the game as part of the
About
budget.
$900,000 they have to come up with as their match,
Yeah.
but that's also in the document. The rest of the money is coming from DCA, from the state, from the CARES Act. So it's kind of a pass through, and stops at ACC government's door in terms of the funds.
Okay, and because I guess what, they can't really hold the deed to that, so that's what the development authority will do.
Correct.
Yes.
We have the
Yeah.
ability to hold the deed as a development authority. Correct.
Got it. Thanks.
Any other questions about this this arrangement? All right, hearing none. That's the end of that old business. The next item is our treasury report. I've read them all. Stephanie, you want to give us the highlights?
Sure. I'm gonna pause sharing so I can switch to that document if you'll hold on. Is it
Sure.
gone now? Y'all can't see it?
I
Now
still
we
see. I
see
still
it.
see the agenda.
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's what I wanted you to say. I didn't want you to see my super secret files.
Yeah. What if we have X-ray vision?
No, they're really not secret.
I know y'all laugh, but earlier in the pandemic, I remember I was sharing an email with y'all and I had project folders for all our confidential projects and I had to call PIO and have them smudge them out because I didn't because you never know, right?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Oh gosh. Okay. Oh, where did it go? Report.
You want me to share the first one? Oh, you got it. Okay.
I was just switching now.
Gotcha.
Okay. Y'all seen all the documents. The only things I wanted to point out, that's not it. That's the 2021. Sorry. I'm in the wrong year.
I feel that way sometimes, Stephanie.
Yeah. With the pandemic, I think we all felt that way.
Here we go. All right, we have $397,000 in our account that, we've collected a lot of money back from the loans we've given out. We've earned $3,000 of interest income and $700 of late fees. So this is operating income that we can use to operate so that we can take less money from the county as we move forward. Maybe we'll have some funds in here to operate with. We ended up turning over 7 loans to collections, like they're officially turned over. The bank has stopped accruing interest and late fees. And they're kind of in a locked state where what happens now is the collections firm contacts the borrower and says, we're going to do all these things if you don't pay this, the scare tactics they use, but in a gentle way. And as they pay, they deduct 33% of whatever they receive, and the rest goes to us and to our bank account. So as those funds come in, it'll reduce that locked amount, but the amount will never go up. And then after collections has completed, like they can't get any more or it's gotten paid off, then we will write off the remainder of those accounts if it exceeds what we wrote as a collections estimate. Remember, we talked about that in the audit. Our our uncollectible reserve is about 15%. So it'll offset that. So it's already been expensed last year, and it will just offset that expense when we get the money in. So just so y'all could see like what happens every month, I look at how many loans are in overdue status and the amount of the payments that are overdue. So this is where we were every month, and you can see that we hover in the 15% uncollectible rate. So actually our uncollectible allowance account is pretty appropriately sized. In April, like now that we've written stuff off to collections, I'm still going to reflect it as being overdue because it still is, but the ones that are in lock state won't add to the interest due as time goes on. So it'll slowly get smaller, but this month we have 2 people that hit 60 days overdue that will go into collections next month if they don't respond to my gentle reminders. And I do it every month. So that's where we are. Any questions?
I have a
Yes, I have
question.
questions.
So how often do you hear from the collections agency as to, I guess, whether they're able to collect or not? Do they do like a quarterly report?
They have an online system that you could go in and look at it, but since it just hit that 30-day point from when I turned them over, and the people have 30 days to say, hey, I don't want to be in collections and all that, that just happened. So there's no data in there yet, but I should be able to look at it monthly and see if they've contacted people, what the results been, if any money has been collected. But when they collect it, they have to give it to me. So we haven't talked about how that fund transfer happens, but I guess the first time they get a payment, we'll sort it out.
Thank you.
Any other questions about this? All right, Debbie, do you have anything else to report?
Nope.
All right, that's hers. I think the next thing was Ilka to give a staff report.
Let's see.
I don't think that I have any staff report other than for our next regular meeting, we'll add in nomination and election for a secretary.
Correct. Unless we do it at a special call meeting. But yes, that'll be the next official time is our meeting in August.
And the other thing that I can think to share with y'all is, I don't know if you remember, but last September I submitted a grant to the state for ARPA funds for another $1 million to seed our revolving loan fund. And unfortunately, we haven't heard anything from the state yet. And I've been logging in about every 3 weeks or 4 weeks or so just to check and see what their site says. And it still says it's under consideration. So I'll keep y'all posted if I hear anything from them. I'm hoping we'll at least hear yay or nay before too long.
Okay. All right. Any other questions of Ilka?
Can I ask a question if someone would introduce Gabby? I mean,
Yes.
she's on the meeting and I would like to know and welcome her.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, Gabby, I want to thank you for stepping in for sure on kind of short notice, but you want to introduce yourself to everybody and let everybody know a little bit about you?
Sure. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I'm using my husband's setup, so I'm like not sure what everything is, but it's fine. So I'm currently a vet student. I have just finished my PhD and jumped back into vet school. So it can be kind of a hit or miss if I can make these meetings from time to time, but hopefully it should all work out. But I have dipped my feet into the community a little bit, or like being involved in the community by being involved on the DDA for Winterville, the Downtown Development Authority for Winterville. And, Tim has just stepped off because he's got involved in another committee. And so he was like, I really think you'd have fun with the people here. I came to one of your guys' meetings several months ago, maybe even was last year actually.
Yeah, you were physically at City Hall with us. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So it seemed like something that would be fun to be involved with, and I've enjoyed my time on the DDA. So I'm kind of interested to see how the Joint Development Authority is different and similar. Yeah, it's
I'm
mostly.
assuming you can serve on multiple development authorities. There's nothing against
Yeah.
the law.
I don't know. I was gonna ask Dot about that.
Yeah, I don't think there's an issue, but we'd have to
We
check.
might ask Dan that question. Dan's the authoritative source for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be glad to email him and ask him about that question.
That'd be great.
He'll give a quick answer.
Perfect. Yeah. Easy.
He's Tim's better half. Don't forget that too.
Tim's better half.
Well, you know, Tim
Definitely
has
the better.
volunteered to do all this work for us, so I'm sure you'll just take it over for him.
Yeah.
Well, not being a vet student, she won't pay. Anyway,
Yeah. I mean, we can figure out this. He was like, "Oh, you're going to be secretary," and I was like, "Okay." So I got the template out, but it looks like someone has already figured that out today, which I'm very
we'll make that decision in August.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, it's only once a quarter unless we have something pressing we have to do. So, yeah, at most you'd meet once a quarter of your time. So,
That's probably for the best.
yeah. All right. I think that takes care of our agenda. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Oh, shit.
All right. Somebody else other than Dodd.
Before I second, I will remind everybody of the Marigold Festival, May 14th.
Yes. Yes. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be
Second
awesome.
motion to adjourn.
All right. I got a second. All those in favor of adjourning, raise your hand or you say hoorah or whatever. All right.
Hoorah.
Thanks for your time, folks. We'll see you on August 3rd unless we have more pressing business before.
Perfect.
Bye.
Nice to
Bye.
see you guys.